Always wanted to make the grand entrance. How are you, everybody? Yeah, I'm out of the sling. How you doing? Everybody okay on this Friday night in the Big Apple? Remember, the city that never sleeps. That's why it looks like shit in the morning. How are you guys? Tom, how are you? Wow, that's interesting. Oh, wow. Oh, that would be really cool. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. I recently lost my pet, as you guys know. It's even odd calling him a pet. It's like you're doing when you say pet, it's like doing a disservice because so much more than that. But a couple of Thursdays ago, he went on to that Rainbow Bridge. God, that bridge must be collapsing. How many dogs are on that thing? And today, hey, Ira, I got this in the mail from a dear friend. And it has the clip. I have one of those religious medallions with a clip like this. And it blew my mind when I received it. And 2 weeks. And it's a different pain. It's a different pain. We all at this age have lost many people in our lives. And to say you get used to it, that's a silly statement. You learn to live with it. You have a new normal. Unfortunately, we are always changing normals as we get to be this age because we're always losing people. So soon as you get comfortable in your skin of being Vinny minus two parents and two sisters, I become Vinny, two parents, two sisters, and my dog. And I have to tell you, you always see so much in an entity when it's gone from your life. And that is anything. If you own a car and you don't have a car, if you owned a home with a garden that you couldn't stand having to manicure during the summer and mow the lawn, and then you're in that small apartment and you miss it. Oh, I'd do anything to mow that lawn again, right? We always seem to want what we don't have. Some of us want what we can have. I can imagine people in prison. Can you imagine what they pray for? If you just let me out, God, I'll cure cancer. I'll go back to school. I'll become a doctor, right? Because stuff that's within our grasp, we never appreciate it. And stuff that's not within our grasp, we don't understand. See, if we understand death totally, we have to really suffer. If we make some sense of it, we can suspend it in animation. Oh, my sister passed, but there has to be a reason, which we don't know because if you believe in the Lord, right, the divine plan, and I'll see her again. If you didn't have that, hi, Patty. Yeah, thank you. If you didn't have that, you'd be hurting more. It's much like when you're with, that's the, absolutely. You're right, Tom. What's interesting? You you look at your life in segments, right? Your youth. I always looked at life in probably quarters, 0 to 20. 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and 60 to 80. Every day after 80, probably nowadays with medicine, is a good day. And you're just happy you're here. And you just hope that you are here, that you understand what's going on around you, because that hurts everyone when you are the only one that doesn't know what's going on and they all see you not knowing. But I'll tell you, if you look at my thumbnail, it has Vinny. That's a piece of wood that was carved out or whatever when I was about 9. Next door neighbor was a school teacher, Claire, in her mid to late 20s. And during the last days of school, she had all the kids making things to keep them quiet. And I don't know if she must have made me that one because it's painted very well. I think she was grammar school. I can't imagine a 9-year-old making that. And it's downstairs somewhere. And in fact, the I think the Y had broken off, and I had to crazy glue that Y. There's a slight crack in it. But sometimes things that are made for you tell a real story, and they tell a story that someone else doesn't know. You write a few words in a prayer card. You may not have even known the person, but one or two of those words may resonate with the person you're giving it to. And you could mean more to someone than someone that gave them a card that knew the deceased. Because the world is funny that way. We hope that God has a plan. We buy it, because if we don't buy it, we can't move on. Hey, Travis, we can't move on. If we truly don't believe that there's something after this and that we're not going to see our loved ones again, it's a lot longer prison sentence than the sentence that we serve here. Many people lose a spouse. They're serving a sentence till they die, but the sentence, they're encaged in their mind. That's where they're tied off from humanity, not in a prison cell. Their own prison is in their mind, where they can't move on, they can't enjoy, and they wait. And it's hard. And I look at this thing here. If love could have saved you, you would have lived forever. I said when he died that his personality could save all the world's problems. And we know people like that. We know people that really help us without even knowing that they help us. In fact, most of the people that help you are people that aren't even as close to you because they're able to see things from afar. Believing that we'll see our loved ones one day. You want to hear that. When your 17-year-old girlfriend breaks up with you and you're a mess, you're hanging out with the friends that are saying, oh, she'll come back. The one or two friends that are saying, no, she doesn't like you anymore. She probably met someone else. You don't want to talk to them because they're not following your narrative. You want to be told she's coming back. Well, that's what happens in life with our real lives, not our sim lives. If we believe there's something more, we have something to look forward to. You're in college, Friday nights, you're missing everyone that's out there at the clubs, and you're studying for your exams. You're studying because you hope that one day you'll be able to have the money to buy the club your friends are hanging out in. You get yourself through the day knowing that, well, I'm sacrificing now, but I'm going to have a hell of a lot easier time later on. It is time. This life, you know what the interesting thing is? This life to me is like when a woman, and Patty would notice, I'm sure, when a woman is pregnant, and back in the day when they wanted, I don't know, natural childbirth without drugs. First of all, any woman that doesn't want drugs hasn't tried Vicodin or Percocet. Because believe me, if I had to have you put an eye drop in my eye, I would say if I could, oh, can you give me a 10 milligram Vic? Right? So people don't understand what it's like to just accept the fact that you have to accept the fact. No conning yourself, no false promises, no making believe that to your 5 year old, oh, Batman eats this spinach. Oh, okay. No, 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 no. No, Batman doesn't eat spinach and it tastes like shit, but it's good for you. Eat it. That, after a while, would work if we allowed it to. A woman that's pregnant, natural childbirth, is screaming during that pregnancy, ah, I'm never having another baby. I'm never going through this again. And 2 months later, she's pregnant. So what happened? Is she a liar? Did she forget the pain? Or is it just something there allows you to move forward? There's something there that allows that foot to go in front of the other one. Hello, Charlie. And God bless you, 95. And I guarantee you, you're as quick as the interstate. That didn't come out right. You know what I mean, Charlie. It's an honor, Charlie. And God bless you. Time, you forget the pain. Because why? Right? If you had that pain walking through a tunnel, you would never go through that tunnel again because you know the pain's worth it when that baby is in your arms. You can equate the pain to the birth like you could equate missing Friday nights out with your friend because you're going to be a doctor and have all the money and be able to buy a new day of the week. Oh, thank you, Tom. So we find ways to con ourselves through life. And some of us are better at it than others. Some of us are real good at it. Some of us really believe that we're never going to commit another crime until you're out. And then you're back in. And then you're out. And then you're back in. Think about it. Every recidivist criminal doesn't want to be in prison for the most part. So they were wishing they were out and they'll never do anything again. And then they go back. Because we are powerless. That's why you need good friends around you, family around you. See, I always thought friends could be much more valuable than family because you can't choose your family. Your friends you can choose. And I'll tell you from experience who can be your best friend. Your best and most loyal friend could be a guy that you were not friends with at one time. I'll tell you why. Because if you were adversaries, that friend, when you become friends, will prove a lifetime proving to you that he's worthy of being your friend and that he's worthy. They are much more loyal. Your former enemy ends up being more loyal to you than a friend you've had for 30 years because that new friend or new non-enemy has to prove in their heart forever that they are really your friend because they always believe you don't believe it. Friends are your family. Absolutely, Patty. I've met people on here that I trust. And I have to tell you, It's not that I don't trust family. Family is too close to you. Family is that good friend who won't tell you you're screwing up until you end up in prison. Family doesn't want to insult you until the insult is so large and then they don't deal with you. Isn't it amazing? You'll have family who won't tell you you're screwing up, and then you could get arrested and serve prison time, and then they don't want to bother with you because you're a convict. Where were you when I was screwing up? Maybe you could have grabbed me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Oh, that's not my place. Well, then it's not your place to hate me now. It's only your place when it's convenient for you. I know, Leo. Leonides. I remember, Patty. I'll always remember that name. And you know something? I'll tell you why pets are different. I know man's best friend and unconditional love, and it's like they haven't seen you for an hour if they turned away from you and looked back at you in a second. It's because they are so loyal, and you don't have to prove to them that you're going to be loyal back. And that's why so many people love animals, because in life, we are so jaded by our experiences and getting screwed over that when we finally see something in our lives that we know is never going to screw us over, we almost feel guilty if we aren't the best version of ourselves we can be. And dogs will bring that out in you. I guarantee you there are the toughest guys. You could be a blood, you could be whomever, that a pet, they would probably cry at the sight of a pet before a baby. Edwin, I would give you the full prayer, but I can't lift this shoulder. But God bless you, my friend. You're lucky you're not going to be in the snow belt this weekend. We're supposed to get 10 to 18 inches. You're going to have people in the Bronx screaming, "I Poppy." Girls out there. 10, I had to say it. 10 to 18 inches here. Yeah, one it'll be 70 Sunday. They're never right. I like my friend in Florida. You don't have to shovel sunshine. You don't shovel heat stroke either. I'll tell you something. I like the snow. And in fact, I used to love it when I was younger. In the 70s, mid 70s to late 70s, it seemed like it snowed all winter. Endless eternal summer. Yeah. Oh, so you know what "iPoppy" means. Yeah, I was walking in the Bronx. There were these two girls in the bodega. I said, "Oh, I heard we're getting 9 inches Sunday. Hi, Poppy." So Colby taught me a lot. And I'll tell you what he taught me. He taught me that I had the capacity to love something that I knew monetarily or couldn't come change a tire in the middle of the night with me, could never give me back anything tangible. Now, we are always told, right? How could you put it? I always say it. How could I put a super chat on my friends here? It's priceless. The friends I have, right? Your best friend. How can you quantify that? You can't. It's worth. You could never put a dollar amount on it, right? He showed me that I could really trust. Now, I trust. It takes me a while to trust somebody, but I can. I have the capacity for it. I don't have the chance to do it anymore. My age, I'm not really meeting new people. and I'm not doing anything with anyone that I have to have that level of trust. But I'll tell you, thank you. Yeah, I don't you know how I did this actually, Edwin? I think ChatGPT. I think on my phone, I said, make a thumbnail, Brooklyn background, and with the words Brooklyn spelled out, old Brooklyn or something, and it came up with this greatest thing on my phone, ChatGPT. But yeah, Colby taught me that it was okay to let my guard down when he was around. That he had my back, and like Patty said, it's a perfect love because you love enough for both of you. That's how you know how much love is involved. Because he's not loving you back. He's not making you a cup of coffee in the morning or, going out and getting your medicine when you're sick or out to dinner with you with a rose, right? He's there. You are loving him, and then you are receiving his love, which you're putting there. So, really, you are loving for both of you. You're doing all the work. So, you are stacking the deck because you're making his love perfect because he's your perfect little friend. That's how he's the best you could ever imagine. You invented him. You invented him. The Love for Your Pet is a novel that you wrote. The loose leaf paper is your pet. Everything I put down on that loose leaf paper is the love. And when you read the poem that I wrote, you'll say, wow, the paper did nothing. The paper just happened to be there when I had a pen out. I put everything onto that paper, and that's what you do with the pet. You put all the love between both of you there. So if you are that able to love a pet, you must be a pretty loving person. Think about it. Because if you could put a relationship out there like that, you must have an abundance of love. That's how I look at it. And if you look at things in that context, your pet lives forever because you gave him the love to give you back. You're still here. Oh my God, Patty, I just looked at these sites that make the animal a replica of yours. Is that the one you're talking about? It was like $250. I didn't actually order it yet. I looked on, there's a couple of sites. That's wonderful, Patty. Yeah, I have his favorite stuffed animal. I didn't move his bed. I admit it. I still put water in his dish, and the wee wee pads are there. I didn't remove them. They're clean. I didn't remove them. I'm not ready. I have to figure out now a different love. Like I said, you're giving all the love for both of you. Well, now he's not here to look at. So I have to manufacture a different relationship. But he will never cease to exist. He never will. Oh, really, Edwin? The old tenement buildings. You have to stay strong because there's no other way to stay. If you don't stay strong, think of how that pet loved you, the love that you also put there, right? What do you think that pet would want for you? If that pet went crazy when you walked in, loved you so much, do you think your pet would want you to suffer right now? Or do you think your pet would want you to be happy? Well, do it for your pet. You never disappointed him before. When Leonidas was hungry, you gave him a treat, cold, fresh water. You took him out. Well, why would you disappoint him now? You were a perfect mommy, Patty. You showed that little boy that he trained you well, that you have just as much love in your heart now. It's no excuse because he leaves that you should. And that's how I look at it. Every day I get up and say, "You're here with me, buddy, and I'm going to show you and prove to you you are." First of all, I have papers in my safe about hearing voices. It doesn't matter. If I'm talking to my pet in the living room, my son says, "Ah, that's it." No one thinks it's crazy. So it's perfect. I have it nailed. I'm joking. I never really heard voices. But you know what I mean? I will keep him alive because he is. He was part of this world. That's like having a child, getting divorced. Ah, the child don't count anymore because I hate that son of a bitch. The wife. Next. How is that possible? It's not possible. So it would make sense that if your pet physically was not here anymore, that they're still there. And if you can believe in heaven and you can believe in all that the afterlife has to offer, why wouldn't you believe that there's an energy source that gets you ready to move on to the other plateau? Right? You don't say, "God, I want to go to Jersey, Belleville." I get in my car and automatically, like bewitched, I close my eyes open and I'm on the exit. No, you have to, there's a journey. And as you get closer, you get off the exit. Well, I really believe like initial descent. I used to love that. Well, we're making our initial descent. What does initial descent mean? What are you going to land twice? What is an initial descent? You're going to go down to practice, go back up. Okay, now we're really doing it. It makes no sense. Well, that's how I look at it. I always thought it was ridiculous. All these little analogies that people put out. I remember being on an airline once, and the lady, the flight attendant, saying, "Sir, you got to put your tray up." Well, all right, you know. Then they left. I put it back up. Sir, I told you. What is the pilot going? Oh, damn! The guy in 3B won't put it. We're all going down. What's happening? If that's your biggest problem, if you can't land a plane because my seat thing is up, you better look at the plane. Well, that's how I look at it with my pet. My pet is still here, and there are things I have to do to ensure that he's fed and nurtured and walked and given water. That's by me making sure that everyone knows around me he's alive because he deserves that. What he gave to me, I should keep him alive for 1,000,000 years. But I won't have that much time to do it because eventually I'll be back physically up with him again or spiritually. So, what I say to all of you wonderful people, Patty, Leonidas is still here. Believe me, he's still here. And Colby and him have met now, which wouldn't have happened probably if they didn't move on to that other realm of life called the afterlife. And afterlife, what does after mean? Afterlife. And it wouldn't make sense that God wouldn't want you to be happy if you deserved heaven. And probably would say, what made this guy happiest at his happiest state? Patty, that's how I know you'll see Leonidas again, like I'll see Colby. So if you're missing a human being, if you're missing a pet, if you're missing your car, I take the car out of that analogy. That's kind of ridiculous. Just remember, we all feel your pain because we've all been through it. But only you can dial that proverbial number that brings them back into the house and back to life. You owe them that, whether it's Tom's mother, Edwin's parents. If I hope they're here, I don't know if they hear Edwin. All of us, we deserve happiness. You skip that college party to become a doctor one day. Well, skip the tears of anguish. The tears of joy will get you back with your pet. As soon as right now, if you look at a picture and smile and remember a great story. So God bless you all. Thank you for coming in. I really do appreciate it. Please be careful Sunday and Monday. That's an order. Love you guys.